Our final student presenter today on the Nicaragua experience is Kris Karr, a senior international business major who will discuss where he stayed, what he studied, and where he traveled, what he gained from the trip, the CIS Abroad program, and a global club information. So I'm happy to present Kris Karr.
Well, good evening, everyone. I just wanted to be here today to kind of explain my semester abroad in France and how that went, some of the experiences I had, and some things I've been doing afterward since that time. My time there, I was there from the beginning of September until the very beginning of December, so like December 12th to 15th is around the time I'll return home. My stay was in Aix-en-Provence, which is just 20 minutes like northeast out of Marseille. And for any of those that don't know where Marseille is on the southernmost part of France, right on the coast of the Mediterranean. I was living there with a host family, and when I say host family, it was a single woman, but she had two other students that were living with her that were also living with me. A French girl who went to the French schools in town, and then another American student, Peter, he went to the same school as me, so became good friends with them. The family experience is very nice. I'll talk about that more here shortly. The school that I attended was IAU, or Institute for American Universities. Very small school. We had about 140 other American students there. There was one girl from India and another girl from Mexico. For the most part, all U.S. students. In general, most everyone I met, or my professors or my classmates, or just anyone that I got to experience on the trip, they're all great people. A big part of what made this trip great and made me really want to stay and go back and make this whole stay abroad thing really big. And I really can't thank those people enough. The places. I traveled a lot. Every weekend I was going somewhere, I was doing something new, trying to see something new. I know 4 months seems like a long time, but really, in the grand scheme of things, you can't see it all. And to give you a little background, that picture right there, that is Notre Dame de la Garde. That is the church in Marseille at the highest point, and you can see the entire city from it. Fun fact about Marseille, if you guys like Count of Monte Cristo, that's where the prison is. To kind of make this presentation kind of move on, I'm going to highlight the one big thing I did, the biggest thing in my opinion, and that was this 7-day road trip I did with 3 of the people, good friends of mine that I went to school with. So what we did basically was we rented a car, which was a fun process. As you can imagine, trying to do all that in French. It was 7 days. We planned it for 10 days, but it started to get expensive. So we're like, we're going to cut this 2 days short. So 7 days, we went on fall break, and the French's fall break is a week long. So it went from a Friday to a Monday. Still longer than a week, but you get the idea. So we hop in this car, and the first place we stop at is Carson. I'm sure you guys are all familiar with the Carson Castle. Really touristy. It's an interesting thing, but it was on the way to Toulouse, so we figured, let's stop, let's take a look. So that was an interesting thing. The town around is really small, pretty just a small village. The next place was Toulouse. And before I get into all these bigger cities in Toulouse, if you ever get the opportunity to go to France, don't go to Paris. Do not go to Paris. There is so much more to see other than Paris. I went to Paris, and Paris was mine. And it wasn't that I didn't like Paris, but it was the fact that Paris it's faux. It's not. It's like going to New York or going to LA or going to Cleveland. It's just another big city. It's just all just mixture of people. But I mean, yeah, there's the French thing going on there. But if you go to Toulouse, Porto, Nantes, all these other great cities, these small towns, those are the places where you're going to get the most rich, true experience. But anyway, Toulouse, it's a very young town. It's a college town. and actually Aix-en-Provence, where I stayed, was a college town too, to this young city, very nice place. Stayed there one night, small hotel room. Not much more than that, did some sightseeing. The next place we stopped is Porto. And everyone knows about Bordeaux and the wines, and we had a wine tasting thing set up for the day. We stayed in this rinky-dink, like run-of-the-mill hotel from the U.S. I think it was called the 5-Star. And actually that night we ate this restaurant called the Buffalo Grill, and it was set up in the design of an American restaurant. It was exactly like an American restaurant, just like a barbecue place, exactly like that. Just pretty interesting. And we were kind of skeptical about Bordeaux because the outside of Bordeaux was really, it just wasn't very nice, like compared to everywhere else we've been. But once we got to the inside of Bordeaux, it was beautiful, beautiful, just beautiful fountains. There's a fair going on, beautiful work, like buildings, just everything was nice. And I apologize for not posting a ton of pictures, but there's so many that I just didn't want to fill the whole presentation with that. And I'll give you a place where you can see some more of those pictures at the end of this. So we went on the wine tasting, and as you can see at the bottom of that picture, we took advantage of Bordeaux by some of the swag we brought back with us. Next was Nantes. Nantes was very interesting because there was like this mechanical elephant that was inspired by Da Vinci's works, and it was a mechanical elephant that people could ride, and it like walked and moved around. We couldn't ride it, but it was still very interesting to see. And they also had this carousel that was also inspired by Da Vinci's works, and the way it was set up, it was multi-level, and I think there was 4 levels, and each level was like a level of the sea, like the ocean. So the top was like animals that lived, and then that level of the ocean, and then you go down the bottom, you have these really kind of scary-looking creatures that you would find at the bottom of the sea. But they're all really well done. Like they look really real, very like much different than you find at a regular carousel. And then from Nantes, we went to Mont Saint-Michel on our way to Bayeux. Mont Saint-Michel, beautiful. The most unfortunate part about it is it's under construction, and I don't know if anyone here has ever been to Europe, but everything that you want to see is under construction, and it has scaffolding around it. It's all been under construction since it's been built. So, and I'll have pictures of Mont Saint-Michel that we'll see here, and then Bayeux. Bayeux has to be one of my favorite places that I was in France. It's a place that I would love to go live in for the rest of my life. It is just south of Omaha Beach, and Omaha Beach is where the Allied forces invaded Normandy in 1944. From Bordeaux, we went to the beach, and we saw the memorial and the memorial cemetery, both extremely nice things, very well kept, you go to some memorials and things, and they aren't just upkept, but this place was clean. There was not a wrapper anywhere. There wasn't a blade of grass out of place. Just beautiful, very well upkept. And there is still a large sentiment up in that area that they have a lot of love for the British and the U.S. and the Canadians and anyone who came and helped them fight that evil during that time. To kind of move along here and bring it back to the end of the trip. The hardest part about the entire thing was coming home. By the end of it, I had become assimilated with these people. The people, my classmates, the local townspeople, they all knew me. I'd go in their shop like every day, get a candy bar, whatever it may be. Everyone was family. This was home now, and you hit this sentiment, which is strange. You hit this sentiment right at this about 3.5 month mark, right when you're getting ready to go. So that's where one thing that I regret is I wish I would have been there longer. I wish I could have stayed longer because I was just beginning to get it. And something that I would recommend is anyone else that is thinking about studying abroad, do it for a semester, do it for a year. There's so much you can learn. For anyone who wants to do, like, learn a language to the peak of learning that language, you have to go immerse yourself and go to that country that speaks that language. I think that is very important. For anyone that is even looking for just this new experience, this new perspective, we don't get that immersion here in the U.S. that you can get by traveling to another country. And I think these people here would definitely agree with me. And sorry for a second, a little bit of a brain fart. Lost my train of thought. Yeah, so the end of the trip was disappointing, but I gained a lot from the trip, and I was really glad I went on it. After that, I had the opportunity to become an alumni ambassador for CIS Abroad, which is the study abroad organization that helped set this up with me. They go through Thiel, so everyone can go use them. I highly recommend them. They're very nice, very helpful. They can do a lot for you. But one thing that I noticed is, from talking to my classmates, was, oh, well, hey, why did you go abroad? They said, well, the school said you had to go. So I'm like, okay, I wanted to go abroad, but the opportunity at Thiel wasn't really, it was there, but it wasn't, hey, go do this. So something I want to really take from this trip, and the reason I want to really come and speak at things like this and really get my story out there, is for the people at Thiel, is you have that opportunity. You can go do that, and I encourage you to go do that because it's going to make you more valuable, more well-rounded, and it's going to give you this great experience that you cannot get if you go and travel there later on, because it's just out of perspective. It's different. So, and that's kind of where the Global Club comes around, an idea I came up with, and with the help of a lot of really ambitious people and a lot of people that really believed in the same idea I had, came together and really helped me put that together, and we got that started last semester, and it's turned out quite well. And also, for all of you that want to learn more about this trip, I've really cut a lot of stuff out of this. I wrote a blog the entire time I was there. It has many of the best pictures that I had, and lists all the experiences down to a T as to what I did. The URL for that blog is down there, but if you want to just look it up real quick on Google, just type in a tomcat in France in Google, and I think it'll be the second thing from the top. So I really suggest, even if you don't go read it all, I wouldn't be offended but go look at the pictures, because those for themselves speak a lot. But anyway, let's look at some of these things. I'll tell you a little bit more about what I did. This picture to the left of the mountain and the trees, that was a picture out of my bedroom window. And that particular mountain at the very top there is a monastery. And the mountain is called Mont Saint-Michel. And you could hike all the way to the top of this monastery. It's about a 2-hour hike. And you could stay in this monastery. There's no longer monks there, obviously. But there's still, churches do trips up there for religious reasons. And there's still a shrine up there. Really nice hike. Something that's really different about it that you won't see in the United States is the hike up there isn't like a guardrail or anything. It's like don't fall. There isn't like cardboards or anything. Like, you see other people hiking up and down, but that's about it. You're on your own. I actually had the opportunity to stay at the top, and it was quite cold.
Yes, just one moment.
Did not bring enough clothes, obviously, for that stay, but there is actually across the very, very top, and if you go to the very, very top, it's really windy and it's kind of scary because the winds are like gusting at like 50, 60 miles per hour. It's kind of scary because you're like kind of wobbly, but the picture to the right is this little town square. To the left is the town hall of Aix-en-Provence. And this is, I'm pretty sure this is Centerville. So this is the center of the city. Spent a lot of time hanging out there. There's a cool little cafe to the right. You can really see it. That fountain, many hours have been spent sitting there and talking with people. I could not, might even be half the trip has been spent sitting on the edge of that fountain. To the left, you see Mont Saint Michel. Like I said, beautiful. You can see it coming from miles away. The area up there is very flat, so this is stands out very specifically. You can see up there to the right. It's hard to see on this projector, but there's scaffolding. So, and to the right, the U.S. cemetery. As you can see, very well clean kept. Very nice. There's a lot of other objects, like I said, in the blog. You can see a ton more pictures of that. Just didn't want to clot it up with all those pictures. And I think, yep, and that just does it. Any other questions? Feel free to ask.
Okay, so quick announcement about Global Club and his presentation. If you guys want to learn more about his trip, there is going to be a coffee hour on Thursday between 4:30 and 5:30, we decided?
Yes.
Between 4:30 and 5:30, probably right over there in Byers, but there will be an email blast sent out probably Monday or Tuesday about that.
Anything else? Feel free. Okay.